Hey, what it is, what it do, what it be, what's good, my good people? You know what it is. Yes, it is the I Am the Possible podcast experience. Yes, this is the place where possibilities become perspective. Thank you so much for rocking with me once again in the I Am the Possible universe, aka the I Am the Possible University. Guys, before we jump into anything, you know what we got to do. We got to pause for the cause, and you already know you are that cause. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Thank you so much for listening, for tuning in, to watching on YouTube, to connecting with me, to sharing this, platform, this podcast. Thank you so much for just interacting. Thank you for showing up. As I like to say, your presence is the greatest present that any of you guys could ever give me. So thank you so much. Now, for all of my new listeners, if this is your first time listening, not only is this a place where possibilities become perspective, but the mission of this podcast is truly to help you, the listener, use your perspective to unlock your potential. All of us were born, we are all born with God given potential, God given talent, God given skills, God given abilities, God given possibilities. And what I've discovered in my own life is that the more of us we can discover, right, the more of us we can develop. And so, this platform, if this is your first time tuning in, we are all about discovery of self so that we can develop that which is self. All right. So, today, man, we're going to jump right into this. Today, I am talking about something that we all talk about. Today, I'm dealing with something that we all deal with. It is something called self talk. Today, we are asking the question and we are addressing the question how? How do we stop talking ourselves out of the life that we really want? Because many times, guys, there's something that we desire, whether it's a complete lifestyle change, or whether it's a goal that we have, something that we desire to achieve, something that we desire to have in our lives. And we head out into this big world of possibilities and probabilities. And we look to gain some momentum. We look to gain some progress. We look to, climb that mountain, and we look to achieve our goal. But as soon as we do, and if I'm talking to you, you know exactly what I'm talking about. As soon as we do, there starts to be this little chatter, this little internal conversation, this little dialogue, this little narrative that goes on within us that tends to make us shrink back. I simply like to call it talking yourself out of the life that you want. So let me ask you this first question, and I'm back to my MP4 slides. I'm super excited about that. So the question is, what life are you talking yourself out of? Before we get into how to stop, I want you to reflect. I want you to think about, what are you talking yourself out of? Because God created you to live a life of high quality. That's not to say that you won't have ups and downs. That's not to say that you won't go through anything. That's not to say that you won't have challenges. But in general, right, we were created to live a pretty high quality of life, to have certain experiences, to accomplish certain things to God's glory, and to our pleasure. Right, life isn't all bad. It's not all good. Right, we're on this continuum. But for the most part, man, what is the life that you dream of, but you keep talking yourself out of? What is that goal that you have, but you keep finding a way to talk yourself out of? What is that thing, right? That next evolution called you, that you start, but then you find a way to stop. And most importantly, you talk yourself out of stopping. What is that dialogue? What's that narrative? What's going on in your head, man? What are you saying to yourself when you are met with challenges and you face adversity? Today's episode and today's experience is all about becoming extremely aware and extremely sensitive to what's going on the inside. Because truly, everything on the outside is just a reflection of that which is happening on the inside, right? Everything that we can see and touch, it's really a manifestation of someone's idea at some point. Even you and I, we are God's imagination. We are God's idea. We're God's intention. We began in the mind of God. That's where we originated, literally in the mind of God. He thought of us, imagined us. He had an idea called you, and he brought you into this world. And so we understand that this physical world is simply a reflection or a manifestation of, or a realization of that which is on the inside. And so, what is going on the inside? I want you to become acutely aware of it, and I want to give you some game today, some tips today that's going to help you to, make that conversation the one you want to have instead of the one that keeps defeating you and keeps making you shrink back, and not see the progress that you want. All right, so let's jump into this. First thing I want to share with you as my slide comes up: self-talk is the most important conversation of your life. Now, I don't know this person's last name. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. The first name is Jesus. Some may say Jesus. It's spelled just like Jesus. But the last name's a little challenging. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. Apolinaris. If you're just listening, that's how you spell the last name. But more importantly, this person said, Jesus said, self-talk is the most important conversation of your life. Think about that. It's not the conversation you have with your mom or your dad. It's not the conversation that you have with your children. It's not the conversation that you have with your mentor, although all these people are important. It's not the conversation that you have with your teachers. It's the conversation that you have with yourself, because you're going to spend more time with you than you spend with anyone else. As they say, when the rubber meets the road, it's going to be a conversation with you. Ultimately, whether you move forward or shrink back in life, it's going to be because of the conversation that you had with yourself. And so today, we are going to be equipped with strategies on how to have a better conversation with ourselves. Now, if you are rocking with me on the tube, and you should be on the tube, iAMthepossible is the handle. YouTube just came out with some handles, and you can just simply find me at iAMthepossible. So if you're watching on the tube, and you should be watching on the tube, check this out, man. I am showing a slide of myself. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of this. Yes, 18 miles a couple of weekends ago, my wife and I ran a half marathon in Malibu. And it was pretty awesome. We had some friends, some coworkers join us, and we had a great time out in Malibu. It was my first 3-medal challenge. I ran a 5K on Saturday, and then I ran the full half marathon on Sunday. So a combined 18 miles that I ran, and I'm super proud of that. But that did not come without challenges, right? That did not come without some self-talk. And so I wanted to share this story because I think it illustrates really well what I wanted to get across today. I'm all over the place with my slides. Okay, there we go. I think it illustrates really well what I want to get across today, and that is the power of self-talk and really what's possible through self-talk. If you understand what self-talk is, where it's rooted, right, and how to navigate it. Guys, I'm so passionate, man. I am so passionate about teaching people to learn themselves, helping people to learn themselves. So much of life we don't live, so many possibilities we never get to experience because we simply don't know ourselves. It's not that we can achieve it, right? That we can't achieve it. It's that we just don't know how we operate. And if we would learn, right? If we would begin to learn ourselves, we could really leverage that learning to live the life that God created us for. And I think that's a pretty cool thing, man, that God allows us to learn ourselves. So I'm out there doing these 18 miles, and at mile 8, guys, right? So, I've got some running history, been running for the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. And at some point in the race, you're going to get to the point where you're tired, you're fatigued, you're sweating, your heart's racing, your feet hurt, your joints are tight. And you're going to start talking to yourself. It is inevitable. Okay. I don't care how great of a runner you are talking to yourself. You can have, your headphones on all you want. You can, whatever. You can take all type of gear with you. Doesn't matter. In that mind of yours, in that brain, you are going to be talking to yourself. And so what do you say to yourself, right? When you're challenged, when you're at the end of what you would consider your run, right? You got 13 miles, right, in a half marathon. But like for me, you reach, mile 8, and in your mind, yo, I'm done. It's over with. I'm I'm ready to pack it up. But no, you still got some miles to go. And you didn't train, and you didn't come out here, and you didn't drive all the way out here, and you didn't pay the $100 and something to give up. So what do? I want you to I want you to draw a parallel between this run of mine and where you get stuck in life. Because, and I'm kind of jumping the gun as I always do because I get so excited, but I'm going to show you how to use a daily run to reach your potential, right? To reach what's possible in your life. But right now, I just want you to understand that just like in that run, we in life, right? We in life reach a sticking point. We reach a point when we're challenged. And I'm going to break down why that is and how that works. But we reach that point where we're challenged and we want to shrink back. We want to stop, right? And how do you get past that? How do you push past that? Well, I'm going to break that down for you right now. So I'm out there. When I hit mile 8, man, I started talking to myself, right? And I think this quote right here really summarizes it. And man, I'm struggling with these last names. These are some unique last names. Well, this person named Anne, and I think it's Poirier. Anyway, I'm not gonna even try it. I ain't gonna waste no time. Poirier. Okay, that's the last name. Woo, these are some wild last names today. Anyway, Anne said in her quote, "My body wasn't the problem. My thoughts and beliefs were." My body wasn't the problem. My thoughts and beliefs were. When you think about the challenges that you have in life, more than likely is not like, how do I want to put this? You're probably not attempting something revolutionary. You're probably not attempting something that's never been done before, right? Like going to the moon, right? You're probably doing something that other people have already done. Like, let's just be real. Maybe you're starting a ministry. Maybe you're starting a business. Maybe you're starting a podcast. Maybe you're having children. Maybe you're in a new relationship. Maybe you are in the process of creating a product or a service that you want to offer to other people. Whatever it is, you name it, you frame it, you put it into your context, right? But you are attempting something that other people have attempted and they've been successful in it. And so we've got the evidence that it works, that other people can do it. Like when I started my podcast, I knew that there were millions of podcasters out there already. So if I shrunk back, if I didn't do it, if I didn't complete it, if I didn't realize my potential as a podcaster, it wasn't that it wasn't able to be done. It was that I talked myself out of accomplishing it. Does that make sense? So for you, what is it for you? What are you talking you out of, right? It's not the body. It's not your ability. That's what Anne was trying to get across. It's not the body. It's not my ability. No, it's my thoughts. It's my beliefs. It's my self-talk. That's the real problem. Yeah, I know. It's something that we all deal with, man. It's something that we all deal with. So how do we deal with it the right way? All right, check it out. Like I told you earlier, right? I'm in my run. I reached mile 8. And dude, I'm like, yo, I'm done. I'm tired. And so this is where I want to leverage my story and at the same time teach you how to use a run, right, to reach your potential. Now, every morning I run a mile minimum. I just get outside. I just go. I run a mile every day. Sometimes I run more. Typically, I run more, but just, I mean, as a bare, basic day, I got to run a mile. That's just me. Don't ask me why. Okay. Maybe it's the dopamine that I get from it. It's the high I get from it. It's the motivation, whatever. Right. But I just enjoy exercising and I just enjoy getting out for a run. And so just like on that mile 8, every day when I run, and I want you to practice this, right? When you run, you will elicit self-talk. It's inevitable. When you run, you are going to have self-talk. The body, I mean, I don't know what it is about running, but running will tax you to no end. Some people are like, man, I cannot imagine running like that. Oh, man, I would never do that. Blah, 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 right? People just don't like running for whatever reason, right? And so running is a great way to elicit and practice positive self-talk. This is a great way for you to, on purpose, right, practice the inner dialogue. It's a great way for you to draw it up, right, and to create an environment for you to practice how to improve your self-talk. So every morning I get up and I do my mile run, knowing that at some point I'm going to hit that sticking point, right? And when I do, I get to now have a conversation with myself on purpose to practice my self-talk. Now, because I do this every morning, guess what happened at mile 8 on the run? I engaged self-talk. And here's the trick. I knew what to say. That's the magic. Do you know what to say? Because you're going to say something, and here. In fact, here, let me just share with you something right here. Let me just share with you something. I think it's my next slide coming up. I think so. Oh, no, it's a different slide. So let me go ahead and make this point, and then I'll get to my other point. Okay. The more of us we can discover, the more of us we can develop. I kind of already covered that one earlier, but because that's my next slide, let me just cover this real quick. Again, guys, this is all about discovering you and discovering how you work and how you operate. Okay. So the more that we can discover ourselves, the more we can develop ourselves. And so this is really what today is all about, just giving you that game on discovering how you operate. And then that way you can begin to leverage it. So here's the slide that I really wanted to get to. You're going to talk to yourself anyway. You might as well know what you're going to say. See, when I hit mile 8, guys, I had something to say. And that's the difference. Many people like me, for many years, I didn't understand self-talk. I didn't know how, it was, where it came from. And I didn't know how to change it and how to then leverage it to live my best life, right? It's not that these things are inherently wrong or bad. It's that for many of us, and that's why I champion self-discovery and self-exploration, right? Going deep before you level up, level down, right? Learn yourself so that you can live your true self, right? But that's why I champion it so much, because this thing happens and it's not wrong, but you just don't know how it operates. And so you just default to what you've always done. It's easier to just go back to what you've always done. It's easier to always default back to what you've always done than to try something new and do something different. Okay. And so the difference was when at mile 8, I said, here we go. Self-talk. Brain, you're working for me, not against me. I know what you're doing. I get it. Okay, I'm with it. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take one step at a time. And I changed my position of my head. I began to look at my feet, and I began to speak to myself in a way that began to motivate and inspire me, because I had already gone through this a million times. I had already practiced self-talk. So I had a dialogue ready in my pocket. You feel me? In my pocket, baby. And I knew what I was going to say. So when it hit, okay, I got you. And what I'm going to equip you with today is, not only did I have the information, did I have what I was going to say, I understood what my mind was doing. I understood what my brain was doing and how it was trying to trigger and elicit certain responses to help me. Then I can say, thanks. but no thanks. And that's what I want to hook you up with. I want you to be able to say to your brain when it's trying to stop you from reaching your goals, thanks, but no thanks. All right. And so just so that I don't forget, let me tell you how that all planned out. I finished. I finished. Okay. As you can see on the screen, if you're watching on the tube, I got all 3 medals. I finished. I felt great. Yes, your boy crossed that finish line once again. So sometimes I go off the rail and I forget to finish my story. But yeah, had a dope self-talk, finished the race, got my medals, glorious day, and I'm off to the next one. All right. So how did I get through it? With this right here. Do you know the design of your mind? That's pretty sweet, right? Do you know the design of your mind? Well, that's a question though. Like, do you? Do you know how your mind is designed? Well, here, let me break a little bit of it down for you. The mind is designed to secure your safety, not support your success. Let me say that one more time for the people in the back. Your mind is designed to secure your safety, not support your success. What do I mean? I'm not going to go scientific on you, okay? I'm learning these things. I'm studying these things. I understand these things to a pretty good degree, but I'm not going to bore you with them. But there is a mechanism in your mind, in your brain, okay? It's a part of the limbic system, okay? It triggers what you and I would be familiar with, or what we would call, or what we know as the fight or flight response, okay? The amygdala, that's what it's called. The amygdala, it is responsible for regulating emotions and feelings, mostly the negative ones. And let me summarize this to make it super simple. What this little guy does is when you are faced with a perceived threat, the mind says, the amygdala says, whoo, I see a threat here. What is the fastest, easiest way to get me, my boy, whoever you are, right? This is your brain talking to yourself. How can I get my boy, my girl, back to a safe place? See, this part of the brain has not evolved over the centuries that mankind has been on this earth, right? It's a little behind the times. It hasn't evolved very much. All that little guy knows is this is uncomfortable. This is challenging. This appears. I perceive it as a threat to my well-being, to my survival. Again, the mind, the brain, it ain't worrying about your success. It's worrying about your safety. And so success requires so much more effort, so much more discipline, so much more process, that when you go the extra mile, the brain is wired to say, whoa, we don't go that extra mile. That's not what we do. That ain't safe. We're not used to that. What are you doing? Where are you going? 9 miles, 10 miles? No, legs hurt, feet hurt, brain hurt, back hurt, legs hurt, arms hurt, heart beating hard. You breathe. You're like, whoa, there's a problem here. So the brain ain't sitting there thinking, he's only got a few more miles to go to reach his goal. Let's motivate him. No, the brain is saying, dude, threat, let's get you safe. Let's walk. Better yet, let's sit down and wait for a car to come and get us. Put it in your context. When was the last time you tried to really go for it? When was the last time you really tried to push through? And do you remember the mind saying to you, that self-talk, that internal chatter, whoa, pump the brakes. That's scary over there. That's dangerous over there. You don't really want to do that, do you? No. Let's just, get our carton of ice cream and let's just go lay in the bed and watch Netflix. Let's not do the extra. No, 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 no. It's bedtime. Let's not do the extra. No, 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 no. Don't. Let's not go into that room. We don't know anybody. No, 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 no. Let's not introduce ourselves to new people. Let's not do something outside the box. That's not safe. Guys, that's what's going on within our minds. That's what's going on within your brain. Your brain is designed to secure your safety, not support your success. But here's the good news. You can change it. You can change it. You can intentionally think of it like this, kind of numbing or curving that response to only really work on a high level when it's absolutely necessary. And when you're going after your goals and dreams and ambitions, and it just requires you to do something that you've never done and go a little further than you've ever gone. Yeah, it starts to say, oh, that feels good. Oh, success is what we know. Oh, it's normal for us to achieve. Oh, it's normal for us to do this thing. You see? So the more you do it, the more you push past it, the more you have the proper and positive self-talk, the more the brain begins to say, let's rewire ourselves. Let's support this thing called success. And here's how we do it, guys. Here's how we do it. I hope and pray that all made sense. Let's do this. Boom, my final slide. I got 4 steps for your mind. 4 steps for your mind. Step number 1. How do we begin to, stop talking ourselves out of the life that we want? Well, you got some goals, you got some dreams, you got some ambitions, you got some stuff that you want to do. All right, write them down. You got them. You got your goals. Write them down, man. Get out a piece of paper. Write them down. This is what I want. This is what the life I want. These are the things I want to do. These are the things that I want to have. And this is not a naming and claiming situation. This is just simply saying you want a better quality of life. And you know that the things that you're writing down, they're like things that you should strive for. These are probably some good things, but you've been talking yourself out of them. Okay, so let's not overanalyze it, and let's not get too religious and get all weird. These are just good things, and you've just been talking yourself out of them. Okay, so that's the context that we're dealing with. All right, number 1, talk yourself through it. Now that you know what the mind is doing, that the brain is doing, now that you know it's trying to keep you safe and not support your success, now that you know that, you're equipped with it. So next time you try to go the extra mile and the brain starts to say, no, you can now say, thanks, but no thanks. I get it. You're trying to help me. You're trying to keep me safe. Well, that goes into point number 2. Do it if it doesn't harm you. When you're having that talk, tell your brain, thank you for trying to save me. Thank you for trying to secure my safety. I appreciate that, brain. You're awesome. You're great. Thank you. But right now, I'm trying to do something. Right now, I'm trying to achieve something. Right now, I'm trying to get somewhere. So let's not stop me right now. Hold that for when the house is on fire. Hold that for when the little baby's running across the street and a car is coming. Hold that when all hell breaks loose. Hold that for when it's a really, when it's a 911 situation. But for now, I'm trying to get somewhere. Number 2, do it. If it doesn't harm you, do it. Train this. Train success. Train pushing past it. Train going the extra mile. You are going to feel so good about yourself, which leads us into number 3. When you feel so good about yourself because you've talked yourself through it and you've done it anyway because it wasn't going to kill you. Now you can celebrate the win, like actually celebrate it. Go out and get a scoop of ice cream. Go out and buy yourself a new dress if you're a woman out there listening. Go buy yourself a new pair of shoes, whatever, right? If you're a guy, go do whatever you're going to do, man, right? Celebrate. Tell somebody how awesome this experience has been. Tell somebody that you made it through it, right? They might celebrate or might not, but you celebrating, right? Get excited about it. Physically change your physicality, like lift your hands above your head, celebrate, dance in a room by yourself, cut some music on and celebrate, jump up and down like your favorite team just won the game. Celebrate it, elicit deep hardcore emotions, man. Imprint that thing on your brain, man. Make your brain remember how great it feels to have talked yourself through it and how great it feels to have done it anyway. That begins to rewire the brain to say, ooh, I like this. Because again, remember, the brain wants to support in general. By default, it wants to support your safety. But if you show it a new way, if you show it that this is what you're going to do, and this is just how it is, the brain will comply and say, okay, well, he's succeeding more often than he's failing. So let's go ahead and support success. And then lastly, guys, continue to learn you. And that's my biggest one. Man, if I had a magic wand and I could just wave it over people's head, man. I mean, truly, guys, we live at the level of our learning, right? The level of our language. Language comes through learning. When I talk about language, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but when I talk about language, I'm talking about the words that you can say and articulate, the knowledge that you can articulate and communicate. And actually it does apply here, right? Because what can you articulate to yourself? What language are you using with yourself? Is it the language of love and support and caring, or is that language defeating and deflating? You feel me? So continue to learn you. Look, I shared with you how the mind works. Just like one facet of how the mind works today. You just learned something new. Think about that. You just learned more about how your mind works. That's information that you now have that no one can take from you. You can leverage that now. You can research that now. You can Google that now and then go deeper with it and read the research papers. You can go to school, you can go back to college and learn more, get a degree in this thing. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but you have to learn you. You have to learn how you work and how you operate. And that's why I champion this so much, because I see a generation who learns about other people, who learns about other things way before they ever learn about themselves. There is a gap in the educational system. Now I'm on my soapbox, but I'm going to shut it down real soon. But this thing has really come to life for me because I see a gap in the educational system where we learn about Christopher Columbus and Martin Luther King before we learn about ourselves. And nothing against either one of those guys. God bless both of them. I'm just using them because at least when I was growing up, them two names were that's what it was, man. Christopher Columbus and Martin Luther King. You are going to learn them two names. Well, that's great. You should know some other great people. That's awesome. But dude, if you don't never get around to learning how awesome you are, how great you are, right? Because Martin lived his life, Christopher lived his life. You got to live your life. So what about you? What about learning you? Again, I digress. Soapbox, another episode, another experience. All right, guys, that is it for today. Today, that is it. Love y'all, praying for y'all, believing in y'all. Hope and pray that y'all got something from this. And I hope and pray that now you are better equipped. I know you is. To do what? To stop talking yourself out of the life that you really want. Now, put this work to work. Put this work to work. I gave you 4 steps. That's work. Yeah, it takes some work, but put that work to work. If you work it, it'll work for you, right? As they say, if you work it, it'll work for you. All right, man. I love y'all. Time to shut it down. Love y'all, praying for y'all, believing in y'all. Until next time, this is Travell C.W. Lynch, Mr. What? I am your self-worth specialist, and this has been another episode, another experience of the I Am the Possible podcast. Thank you so much for rocking with me in the I Am the Possible universe, aka the I Am the Possible University. Any questions, any concerns, any feedback, you know what to do. Come on, Drop me some stars. Drop me some reviews. Hit me up, man. iAMthepossible.com. Pray you guys have an amazing rest of your week.